My name's Doc Severson. I will introduce Mav here in a second. He's got a great presentation for you guys tonight. And if you're wondering why there's food on the initial slide, it is Pi Day 3.14, right? You guys all know the numbers. So tonight we're going to be talking about how to find your next big cryptocurrency. How to find your next big cryptocurrency. So this is one that we've got been cooking in the works for quite some time. And this is a very, very difficult, very unusual project to be bringing to you guys here today, just because this space is so difficult. If you guys know anything about the stock market and fundamental analysis, it's pretty easy to do things like PE ratios, and look at the cash flow of companies and look at the expense ratios and look at the cash flow statements and profit and loss and things like that. Guess what? When you're dealing with crypto, this is a completely different world where nothing like that exists yet. So we're kind of wandering out there in the dark trying to find out what works and what doesn't work before it has a chance to be mature. So tonight's topic is very, very important and has been responsible, I'd say, for the majority of this guy's portfolio. And I'm lucky because I get to work with this guy all the time. So when he talks about something, I listen and I jump on board as well too. Well, yes, this will be recorded. This will be recorded. So if there's low sound, I've never been accused of having low sound on my webinars before, but if you have low sound, there is a little volume slider on your GoToWebinar control panel. Okay, so let's get going here. Let us roll on. I want to respect your time here tonight. Okay, quick risk disclosure before I get started. If you don't treat this like a business, if you treat this like some type of a hobby, this will be the most expensive hobby that you guys could possibly imagine. I see people every day that treat this like a hobby. Please don't do that. Please have a business-like professional approach towards your crypto investing, and it will reward you over time. I'd like to give a special welcome to our premium members that are out there tonight. Welcome aboard. Those of you, yes, we're working on the newsletter. It will be sent out after tonight's webinar. I apologize for that. I know some of you are getting frustrated with sometimes we get it out early. Sometimes like tonight, it may have to wait a little while because we've been working hard to put this presentation for you today. So tonight, our goal is to share some guidance and ideas on how to search the crypto landscape for new opportunities. And there's new opportunities every day, but which ones are good? Which ones are not so good, right? So for those of you that are members, what you will find is tonight's session will be located in the classes archive. So we'll put it out there in the classes archive. And for those of you that are not members, we will email you tomorrow. So we'll take care of this tomorrow for you. We'll send you a replay of this. And for those of you that are listening to this on a replay, welcome aboard. Sorry you couldn't make it with us tonight, but the fact that you're listening to it maybe on Thursday is not really that big of a deal. Okay, so go to the classes archive for those of you that are premium members in this. We'll try to get this up there tonight for you guys, and the rest of you will email it out tomorrow. So we've got, you know what, I think we probably have more than 30 minutes. I think we probably have 40 to 45 minutes of actual content and material for you guys. So Mav is going to open the kimono and share everything with you guys. So we'll wrap up after about an hour or so, and then we'll do some Q&A. One thing I would ask that you guys do is please hold your questions. Please hold your questions. I know you're going to want to like pound them in there and say, wait a minute, what did you mean by that? Please just write down your questions, because what happens is if we stop every 5 seconds and answer a question as we go through the presentation, we will be here for probably another 2 hours just trying to get through the initial slide deck. And so that's not fair to everybody. So please hold your questions until the QA period, and we'll be happy to answer them at that point. And Look, guys, I know the crypto market's selling off tonight. It's doing what it needs to do. It's got to shed off the dead wood. We've been talking about this in our webinars lately. So we've had two webinars lately where we've been talking about the bear market. So we had the bear market webinar at the beginning of February, and then we had the I hate this market webinar at the end of February. Both of those are in the members area. So if you want to know how to handle this bear market, we've already got the content out there. So go refer to those again. We've been talking about the market lately in our newsletters as well too, and what to handle and why it needs to go through this process. So we're going to be talking about this, but we can't talk about your portfolios tonight. We cannot talk about your portfolios. So tonight we are going to be talking about Mav's 10-step process on how he researches coins. Then we'll talk about your questions and answers. So folks, without further ado, I'm going to hand over the microphone. Give us a couple of seconds to transition because Mav is not on PowerPoint here. So we're going to switch out the presentation. I'm going to put you on mute, and we'll be right back with the dulcet tones of Mav. Hang on a second, guys.
Hello, and a warm welcome to this introductory class on cryptocurrency fundamental analysis. My name is Mav, and tonight we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics in crypto. So cryptocurrencies are an emerging asset class and one of the most exciting investment opportunities of this century. We've gone from a single crypto, Bitcoin, the one that started it all, to thousands today. As this space is extremely speculative, wouldn't it be great to know what to invest in? The biggest issue for most new investors is they wonder, what should I invest in? And they find that there's a minefield of bad advice, poor suggestions, charlatans hustling coins that they've been paid to promote, and people repeating all of it like well-trained parrots. Just today, Google banned all cryptocurrency-related advertisements because there's just been an excess of these ICOs and crypto companies all trying to grab your attention and get you to give them money. Trying to find good investments in this space can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack, except the haystack is on fire, the farm is on fire, and when the firefighters show up, instead of putting out the flames, they start talking about this hot new ICO that it's going to the moon and they're going to be driving Lamborghinis on the moon. Yeah, I know, it's a little bit dramatic of a metaphor, but certainly it's not hyperbole to say that new investors and even those who've been around for a while find this space to be extremely daunting. Consider that most people investing in crypto have never invested under their own volition before. If they have, they invested in the stock market and they followed the advice of a guy like Jim Cramer on CNBC. So they apply that same logic to crypto. They figure it's best to look for the loudest voices in the room, so they head over to YouTube, search for crypto, and the first result is a guy promoting something like BitConnect. We all know where this story goes. So that's my challenge for you today. I may be the sage on the stage, so to speak, but my goal here is not to tell you what to do. I want to show you how you can become self-sufficient and a badass through fundamental analysis. So the skills we're going to discuss with you today in this class are invaluable and absolutely worth honing for two reasons. First, you'll be able to see more clearly what differentiates a good coin from a bad one. The number one mistake we see with new cryptos is that they listen to the first piece of advice that they hear and buy into a terrible product with no hope of making them returns. They get frustrated and declare cryptocurrency as a scam, and they miss out on the potential returns of this space that can be offered to them. Getting invested with a project that is dead in the water and has no foreseeable future other than hollow promises is known as investing in bags, and it makes you a bag holder. One way you can avoid this is by being intelligent with your stops, which we'll cover more in a future class on technical analysis. But you can also avoid this state by avoiding those coins that will become bags and knowing what separates a successful project from one doomed to fail. The second reason to hone your skills in fundamental analysis is this is one of, if not one of the best ways to see amazing returns on investment in crypto. There are many, many different ways to make money with cryptocurrency, as I highlighted in my most recent video, but almost none of them are as pure and as potentially profitable as finding a cryptocurrency well before most people have. Sure, you can invest in a coin in the top 10 or top 25 by market cap and see a nice single-digit multiplier as that coin gains popularity. But what if you found a coin in the outside of the top 100, top 200, top 500 that had just as much potential? You could see a double-digit or even triple-digit multiplier if that coin starts to gain traction. But as the potential reward increases, so too does the potential risk. We need to understand what fundamentally separates potential winners from destined losers. And so that's why fundamental analysis is extremely useful. It helps you see the potential in a coin before everyone else does. And it helps you stay away from those coins that are very clearly lacking substance and will soon be only worth a fraction of what they're currently trading for. Quite simply, fundamental analysis is what helps you to buy a coin before it becomes a big hit. Fundamental analysis helps you to buy before the spike in price that turns your initial investment into something significant. Fundamental analysis helps you to get in early so when the price shoots up but then starts to correct, you don't panic because you're still in the green on the position and you know the potential of the project will be worth waiting and holding your coins for. In fact, you fundamentally understand and thus believe in the coin so much that while everybody else is panicking during that correction and the price is going down and they bought up at the top, you're smiling while you buy up more of the coin because you know it will eventually be worth way more than its current all-time high. So fundamental analysis does not take the guesswork out of crypto, but it does make it a whole lot less of a game of chance. Furthermore, fundamental analysis helps you switch from someone that is always reacting to someone that is proactive. Fundamental analysis helps you to keep your emotions in check, which in turn helps you become a professional in this space. Being calm, knowing the best course of action, knowing how to evaluate a situation and a project develops you into the smart money of crypto. So we start with reconnaissance. It's the act of going out and looking for opportunities, seeing if you can't discover something great before other people do. I like to refer to it as fishing. Next, once we found our opportunity, we do a coin supply appraisal, which we seek to determine if the coin's current supply, max supply, price history, exchanges, etc., any other information we can glean on the economics of the coin itself. After that, we do an evaluation of evaluations. Before we make our own determination of the coin, we want to see what others are saying about it. Think of it like looking at the reviews on Amazon before buying something. Now that we've found a coin we like, determine the economics look good, and have read through what other people are saying, we start to make our own evaluation by moving on to the reading of the project's white paper, which is a document meant to serve as the central source of information regarding this project. If everything looks good, we start looking over the project's website and the team itself to see what experience they have, how they're structured, and the general composition of the team. Following that, we perform a coin market analysis, where we determine the landscape surrounding this coin, the competitors, the use case viability, and the adoption potential. Now we take what we learned and assess the project as something we want to buy, something we want to watch, or skip. By now we should have a good understanding of the how regarding the coin, the what regarding the project, and the why regarding the mission. Importantly, we do this step and then look at two sources of information you're going to source from as a future investor in this project: the community and the project communications. We first need to look at the community surrounding the coin. Community is very important if adoption is needed. So we want to see a very active group of people who are discussing this coin and actively excited to be invested in it. After that, we look at the communications from the team. This will be the best source of information going forward in the future. Lastly, we return to our notes regarding the coin supply appraisal and make a determination of where to buy the coin from. So fundamental analysis helps you to be the most knowledgeable investor you can be. It's what separates you from the group of investors who wait to be told what to do, which oftentimes leads them to make hasty emotional decisions. Instead, you, by taking the time to really comprehend your investments, are able to rationally and logically and not fly by the seat of your pants, but rather to invest with caution and react intelligently to a changing landscape. Crypto is changing every day. What's going to be extremely evident in a few years is that the coins that lasted were the ones who had the fundamentals to back them. If crypto is the dot-com bubble reborn, then we want to find the next Google and Amazon, not the next flops. So let's get a little bit more granular and dive into each of these steps. As I said, the first step is reconnaissance. In crypto, this space is extremely speculative. People who are the loudest are oftentimes the most wrong. You can't wait for someone to tell you what the next big crypto will be. If that's the case, you'll pay $3,000 for someone to tell you that Ethereum is the next Bitcoin. No, if you want the biggest fish, you need to be the best fisherman. In our free ebook, How to Make Your First Million with Cryptocurrencies, the essential takeaway was that in order to make $1 million with crypto, especially if you're starting with something small, you need to find the cryptos that maximize yield while minimizing risk. Oh, sure, you say, that's as obvious as buy low, sell high. And to some degree, you're right. But the more you read on projects and the more you start to piece it all together, blockchain technology is extremely disruptive. But that's not enough. You need the right team using this technology in the right way to disrupt an industry that has a market. Just because you can tokenize something does not mean the market will value that token. When investing in the long term, research is the #1 key to becoming reliably right. Research would have let you know that Ripple was working with major banks in Asia while the asset was only half a cent. Research would have informed you of the Ethereum Alliance while Ethereum was less than $20. You would have found out that NEO, formerly AntShares, had a relationship with Alibaba when NEO was 25 cents or less. I could go on, but the point is research and patience is the key to success. If you bought those assets and held on to them, you should be doing very well today. And that's just a handful. Keep in mind, there's no get-rich-quick strategy. I'm also sitting on assets that have not shown impressive results yet, but I expect them to establish high earning potential later. So this first step called reconnaissance is exactly the first step to winning anything. Understanding the landscape so you can make tactical, informed decisions. One of the first things you need to understand is that while you need to treat the states very differently than a more established market, such as trying to find tech stocks in the NASDAQ to invest in, because cryptocurrencies and the projects built around them are essentially the next evolution in the startup culture we've seen it explode over the last couple of years, you need to evaluate them like a VC does. The information you look at, the projects you evaluate, the potential winners you seek will not be neatly organized. This space is based on a disruptive technology, but ironically, the space is internally disrupted. When you have an unregulated market, when things operate like the Wild West, order is rarity, and your job is to be the sheriff, to know the good from the bad. So let's get into what are some good and great resources for finding crypto. The first one I like is Twitter. One of my biggest learning resources for investment has been following crypto Twitter accounts, not critter accounts, guys who have been in this space for years, anyone who can talk and seem knowledgeable, but who actually have the stats to back them up. I went through hundreds of Twitter profiles and looked at people's coin calls from a few months back. I then looked at their success rates and put values on those calls based on that. I began noticing patterns in the ways that these guys call coins. Most successful guys with the highest success rates usually call the same coin. I began picking up on their habits and the resources that they use, and soon I was buying coins before they'd even mention them. Also, you want the best entry points because crypto moves fast. You also want to follow the developers themselves, not just the coin. Some of the developers may have 1,500 followers and that's all, but the actual coin has 60,000, for example. Follow some of the early investors as well. Another great resource for finding cryptocurrency is Reddit. Reddit is by far my favorite resource for cryptocurrency. You'll find tips, resources, news, and information here that you won't find anywhere else, or at least as easily. Subscribe to subreddits for cryptocurrency, crypto markets, and if you see someone discussing a coin that sounds interesting, then go check out the subreddit for that coin, if there is one. We'll come back to talking about a specific coin subreddit when we discuss community. One good trick I use is to go to the main cryptocurrency subreddit, r/cryptocurrency, and searching for words like undervalued, gem, radar, potential, sleeper, pick, top, big, choice, and next. People often use words like these to describe a coin that they're wanting to discuss or advertise. And I found some really good coins just using that trick alone. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, okay, what's the game plan here? Am I just trying to get as many suggestions as possible, or am I looking for quality or quantity? Should I be paying attention to what people are saying or rather not saying? Should I look for criticisms? Should I compile these notes? And my answer is yes to all the above. You're trying to cast the widest net you can to catch as many fish as you can. You don't really care right now about good or bad. As you get more familiar with the space, you can begin to notice patterns and types of messages and these types of cryptos to stay away from. You can get better and more decisive about what you keep in your list and what you want to throw back in the sea. But if you're completely new to this, it's in your interest to look at things as broadly and as objectively as possible to start. So for instance, hunt down 25 coins that people are talking about. Try to take a few notes on each coin so you have a good understanding of what people are saying. If people are mentioning a coin multiple times in different mediums, that's a good sign. One of the ways we look at if people are talking about is by using social media searching. A site called coinmonsta.com and solum.io, it was coinmonsta.io, are great because they use social media and look at the number of mentions compared to the price for cryptos. I've got the links on this slide. It's a great way to see what's hot and upcoming. We can also look for microcaps, which are tiny coins with lots of possible potential. For that, I go to coinmarketcap.com. I click View All. I order by market cap in terms of dollar. I scroll all the way down to the coins with a smaller market cap than $250,000, for example. These are ones that could be mega winners over time, or they could be nothing. Note down all the coins below this mark with a low to medium coin supply, i.e. less than 50 million. For all of these, also note their 24-hour volume in dollars. Cross out those coins with a lower than, let's say, 2% market cap to volume ratio. For example, if Example Coin has a market cap of $100,000, its 24-hour volume should be $2,000 or more. This is because we want the market caps that are getting a decent amount of attention. For those remaining coins, cross out all the coins that have a far greater total supply than their circulating supply, because this is usually indicative of a large pre-mine, and I'd steer clear of that. There's plenty of coins to pick without this added liability. The ones you're left with, and there's usually quite a few, are the ones you need to do further research on. One thing we can also do is research ICOs and use them to get a head start on a coin that will eventually be big someday down the road. Generally, ICOs are some of the hardest to adequately determine long-term perspectives for, and furthermore, they're inherently dangerous as there's many, many bad ones. Over half of the ICOs from 2017 have already failed, so that's a pretty good indicator of how saturated this ICO market, as well as how dangerous it is. So now that we have our list of coins, let's dig deeper into each of them. The first thing we're going to do is look at the coin supply for each and what other people are saying about this coin. Analyzing and understanding the potential price and value of a cryptocurrency can be both tricky and frustrating. There's no quick and dirty methods of analysis that can forecast a coin's price, but there's still some parameters that can help you understand where it might go and how to gauge if the coin is still a good potential investment. Developing a good understanding of these factors can help you understand some of the things that are going on in the market. Nobody can know everything that is happening in the market, but understanding these concepts will enable you to know a few things. Some understanding of the market is always better than no understanding. The cryptocurrency analysis concepts that every altcoin investor should be familiar with are total supply, circulating supply, coin price, market capitalization, popularly known as market cap, and coin price. Researching these will give you a better, but not always clearer understanding of what's happening in the market, especially for a specific coin. The total supply, known as the fully distributed market cap, of a cryptocurrency is the altcoins specific currency in existence that are circulating and the ones released in the future. This includes the coins available in the market or circulating supply and all the currencies being held by speculators, investors, and people involved in the initial currency offering, or ICO. The total supply is important because of the size it can determine the coin price. A popular rule of thumb is the larger the supply, the lower the price. The circulating supply is the number of altcoins for sale in the market right now. This number can be easily determined at a website such as coinmarketcap.com, which lists the circulating supply. Tracking the circulating supply is the best way to estimate the demand for the cryptocurrency. This can be best done by looking at the change rate number posted on some websites. Circulating supply directly affects the price of the coin. The lower the circulating supply, the higher the price, depending on the market cap, with lower market cap giving a lower price. The circulating supply is the value that's generally used to calculate the price of the coin. This means that a cryptocurrency with a low circulating supply, let's say 10 million coins, is likely to have a much higher price per coin than that of a coin with a higher circulating supply. When looking at a coin price, there is something to be said about the psychological factors that play a role. A cryptocurrency that hits $1, for example, passes a sort of psychological milestone. We could say the same thing about Bitcoin when it hit $1,000 or $10,000 and recently almost 20. A coin passing a certain price seems to spike serious market demand as the coin proves that it has value. The takeaway is that if a cryptocurrency climbs past a certain price, that price becomes fixed in the mind of the public, and likely the coin will either gravitate to around that price or it looks to go to a new price because people adjust to this. Lastly, market cap or market capitalization is the most important number related to a cryptocurrency. You should study market cap carefully because it's the easiest factor related to an altcoin to measure and understand. The market cap is the value of all the units of an altcoin on the market right now. It can be easily determined by simply multiplying the circulating supply by the coin price. If the circulating supply of, for example, example coin is 1 billion and the coin price of example coin is $1, then the market capitalization of example coin is 1 billion. Market cap is vital because it determines how much potential ROI or return on investment you can achieve. A high market capitalization means that there is less room for the coin price to increase. However, a low market cap indicates that an altcoin might be capable of more growth. Knowing the amount of potential price growth is good because it determines the return on investment from a cryptocurrency. The ROI is always a good thing to know because it's the amount of money you might make from an investment. Knowing what these terms mean is important because it can provide more data for your analysis. So next we want to know what coins are big or small, but we also want to see what people are saying about the coin. This is beneficial for two reasons. First, it gives you perspective that you might have missed or ignored. And second, it can inform you later if people are talking about this coin who don't know what they're talking about, which is a bad sign. It doesn't matter how much someone talks up or shills a coin, the information is probably going to be inaccurate, less than trustworthy, or just plain incorrect. However, this is a big however, coins that are shilled are usually a lot more likely to see a jump in their prices. Talk generates interest. Interest generates investment. Investment generates higher value. But we've got to be smart about it. The most important thing is to be constantly skeptical. Don't listen to what other people have to say trying to convince you to buy or sell a coin. That's why we do our own research and make an educated decision based off of that alone. All too often, people are so blinded by their own beliefs, by the hype surrounding a particular asset, that they just make the worst possible decisions. People become so blinded by what they want to believe that they completely disregard the evidence that's sitting right in front of them. All I'll say is this: never trust any online reviews, never trust any online ratings, never trust any news that you read without doing your own research. There are people who just want to spend all day writing other people's college essays for them. I see jobs for posting fake reviews online all the time. I've literally seen jobs titled stuff like 5 fake news headlines required, no articles, just headlines, $50. The people doing this kind of stuff are out there to pump out so much fake news that they outsource thinking up article titles just to save some time. $10 per headline is still probably very profitable for them. Basically, fake news is a real and booming industry. However, evaluating these evaluations has given me insights I would not have had otherwise, and it's the fastest way to gain an understanding of a coin. The second fastest way is probably the best way too, is to go directly to the source, the white paper. So what's a white paper? By the power of example, you kind of know what it is. A written document to better understand the technical project behind an ICO or an established coin. But the white paper isn't restricted to ICOs or crypto space. White paper has been a document long used in business. White paper is an authoritative report or guide that informs readers concisely about a complex issue and presents the issuing body's philosophy on the matter. It is meant to help readers understand an issue, solve a problem, or make a decision. What describes its use best is that it helps readers understand. It is an informational document meant to deliver you the best information without the PR and marketing filter or promotional content that we find on websites, flyers, and advertisements. Now, that's not always the case. As you begin to read through white papers, you'll find that there's a huge diversity in the types out there. Some projects use their white paper as an extension of their marketing, filling it full of marketing jargon and buzzwords. Some are very short. Some are feel like PhD dissertations. Some are painfully shy of details, while others are excruciating in their level of detail. Lots of times these white papers are long and full of technical lingo. If you ever actually take the time to read an entire white paper, oftentimes you'll feel like you ought to get a gold medal for your efforts. But the best you can do is subtly brag to your crypto friends that you read the white paper. Sure, bragging rights are great, but there are many other much more important reasons for taking the time to do this. What you learn about crypto white papers is that, at least in the good ones, they are designed to do several things. First, inform the public and you of the project. Second, what they aim to accomplish, which is often full of marketing. Third, why they believe their project is needed. Oftentimes they'll write an abstract, which is a good summary of this. Fourth, their roadmap, which is a timeline of milestones they want to reach and when they want to reach them. Not all projects will include this, and some are scant of details, but a good roadmap should tell you where they've been and where they want to go. Next, they have methods and how they plan to meet those methods. Learning about these aspects of a crypto project will help you better understand all that goes into creating new cryptocurrencies. White papers are great tools for beginners to be exposed to a higher level of crypto vocabulary. More often than not, you'll come across words that will make you feel like you're missing something, and that's when Google is your best friend. Don't be afraid to look up words you don't know, and don't be afraid to learn something new. Sure, it can be tedious and overwhelming, but if you're interested in deepening your knowledge of this space, white papers are a great source, and there's plenty of good ones out there for you to explore. After you've read over a few of them, you'll begin to develop a better sense of what makes a good white paper, which is also an indication of the quality of the crypto project itself. You'll notice things like what kind of info they're leaving out, which is a very good skill you need to hone if you want to be good at fundamental analysis. You'll also be able to see if their project has legitimate use cases, because it's all well and good for them to claim to be able to solve all the world's problems or disrupt billion-dollar companies, but if the only way they get there is to rely on the network effect, for example, i.e. they're only successful if a bunch of people use their product, then you should be skeptical. You also see the type of philosophies that are behind the project. Slowly but surely, you'll begin honing your skills and developing more confidence in your knowledge of this space. Make sure you understand their economic model, not just the coin supply and inflation, but what motivates adoption in the near, medium, and long term, and what mechanisms provide the price stability or instability, how security and development is rewarded. After we critically read through the white paper, we next look at the team themselves. It's imperative to do research and find out all you can about them, as they're the ones who will be bringing the idea to life. Team members you should check out are the CEO, CTO, devs, support groups, etc. LinkedIn is also good for this because it provides all the detail, people's backgrounds, and their knowledge in the industry. You need to make sure that they have a good team. A good concept cannot be brought to fruition without a good team and will fail accordingly. Now that we have an understanding of the coin and the team behind it, we look at the coin's market. We got to find some competitors. You really need to do your research on coins performing similar or same operations. Have an eye for those targeting the same industry, as they may cut a percentage share of the market cap from the project you are researching in, and who knows, you may end up finding a coin that's better. Especially in today's crypto world, there are many projects all vying for the same industries and thinking they can do a better job than the next. This is why research is so important, because a coin can be a winner or loser depending on the competition. We want to be sure our coin is actually solving a need in the market. We want to make sure that they're potentially revolutionizing and leading their niche. And so now we can go on to the project assessment. It's time to put this all together. One of the most important steps is determining the what, the how, and the why of a project. Hopefully from reading through the white paper, you now have a sense of each of these. One of the most important points to those in the crypto community will stress is that you need to determine two important points. Actual need for the token, which is pretty high on my list. I generally start with this one, actually. If there isn't need for a token, then I'm not interested. You should also have an understanding of the technology behind the project, what makes it unique, the coin supply, and the market for this coin. Do the things that people said about this project match what you found? What's the project history of the coin? Have they met their roadmap goals so far? Most importantly, we need to look for longevity. In the world of investing, there are many general rules to follow, but some are more important than others. The first of several I want to speak about is the rule of longevity. When choosing your long-term investments, it's important to select projects that appear to have longevity in mind, not just with the product itself, but those producing it. The common questions to ask are, will this service still be needed or used in several years? Is there a competing service that can easily outperform this project? And do the developers appear emotionally committed to their project? If you can answer these questions with enough confidence to determine a current or growing need for it, no imminent competing threats, and a committed team of developers, then you're onto something with a potential good risk to reward ratio. The last few steps are pretty straightforward. We want to look at community involvement because it's one of the best ways I like to evaluate a project. A good community will take a decent coin and make it a great one. A good community will have lots of discussions surrounding the nature of the product. A good community will discuss ways to make the coin better and to improve it and to evangelize their chosen project. A good community is one you feel welcome in, even as someone who's never touched a project before. As I mentioned before, the Reddit devoted to a specific coin is one of the best ways to get insider knowledge about the coin. If breaking news comes out about a coin, you can bet you'll hear about it on the subreddit first, unless you're also on the coin Slack or Telegram channel, which I highly recommend joining. After seeing how the community is and what people in the community are saying about the coin, next we want to look at the communications from the team themselves. Where community sentiment is the lifeblood of a project, communication is the heart that keeps it flowing. Too many times I've seen a perfectly good project absolutely fail to deliver good communication. As I mentioned in the project team assessment step, there's plenty of good cryptos out there that have no sense of how important communication is. They leave their community in the dark while they labor away, and that creates a very impatient and unforgiving group of people. One anecdotal thing I'm pretty adamant about is a coin's team discussing price as a big red flag to me. The coin's price is a result of the team's work, yes, but it's a really bad look if the team is openly showboating about their market cap or getting into fights on Twitter about it. We want to invest in professionals, not amateurs. So if it was not already explicitly apparent, communication is extremely important for our project. And without that, the project will cease to be taken seriously. Okay, so now for the fun part. Let's pull the trigger on this coin that we've been evaluating. But first, we need to write a short conclusion. Just summarize your current overall impression of the coin. Make it a point to be as descriptive or as brief as you want. A thorough research will help you determine the long-term potential of a project and help in deciding on long-term holds. For example, do you think this project will still be around in 2 years? Short-term prices may seem largely independent and speculative when you look at the long-term price objectives for the coin. If everything adds up well enough, I'll invest. It's important to determine how long you believe ROI will be and make sure to highlight an exit point. Remember, begin with the end in mind. Define your exit before you make an entry. And with that, congratulations, you've successfully evaluated a cryptocurrency like a professional, and in time it will hopefully pay off with a huge gain. Okay, so before I take some questions, I do want to talk about an introductory class I've been building around fundamental analysis. It's meant to be a comprehensive guide for you to use as a tool in your journey with crypto. I cover the same material as in this webinar, but I expand on each of these steps in ways we simply didn't have time for tonight. It's meant to walk you through in greater detail the steps we covered tonight, and I use in my own fundamental analysis. I culminate the class by doing an evaluation of a coin and walking you through everything I'm thinking as I do it. What's great is this class is going to be all recorded and produced professionally, so it's going to be the same high quality you're used to with my channel, and for our premium subscribers, the newsletter as well. Each step is going to have its own video, so I take the time to give each step the attention it deserves. For example, there's no way I could have gone into all the different methods for finding cryptocurrencies tonight on this webinar, but tomorrow when I release the video, I will. And that's the thing. If you sign up tonight, you're going to get the introductory video, which essentially sums up everything we talked about tonight, plus the investor research document, which will allow you to go out and evaluate cryptocurrencies using these steps, and serves as a guideline for asking the critical questions you need when looking at cryptos. The aim is that you can start to archive your research, so months down the road you can refer back to it and relearn anything that you might have forgotten about the coin. But hold on, where's the rest of the class? Well, as I mentioned, each of these videos is going to be produced separately and in turn released separately. We'll be putting them out one day at a time, one video at a time. So as I said, the video on reconnaissance is tomorrow, and then the evaluations of evaluations video will be released on Friday, and so on for the next 11 days. So why are we doing it this way? Why split the class into 12 videos? Why not just have one and release it all at once? Well, I know this is a pretty complex topic, and I know people are going to look at this huge 10-step process and get intimidated by the daunting nature of it. Furthermore, I know this can be something that's easy to lose focus on, and I admit that it's not the most exciting thing in the world. Lastly, I'm adamant that every step in this process is just as important as the one before it. Cutting corners here can get you into trouble. So to combat all of these things, I want to give you the class one piece at a time, one day at a time. That way you can just focus on the day's topic without having to feel like you have to digest the whole thing at once. And it helps you to focus because these videos are only about 10 to 20 minutes long each, which I don't know if I don't know about you, but my attention span is only about that. I think it's a great way to give you 24 hours to think about each one and how you can master each step. That way you can really take these lessons to heart and, more importantly, make them your own. So on to the important bit. I'm resolute that education we deliver is high quality and accessible. To that second point, accessible means affordable. Our class is $59, but if you're a premium subscriber, then it's only $49. Not that I'm saying take advantage of this, but if you sign up for our premium newsletter service, the $10 coupon code in the newsletter that we send every day, so you could be immediately turning around and getting the class for cheaper and subscribe to our premium daily newsletter, which I'm pretty proud of the work we do on it and the efforts that we make every day to decipher the news and show you what we're doing with our portfolio. People have told us we're offering 10 times the value of guys charging 10 times of what we are, which is really humbling. Okay, two more quick things about fundamental analysis class, and then we can start to take some questions. First, if you're the sort of person that hates the 12 days of crypto model that I'm using to release the class and would rather just watch it all at once, I totally get that. I'm going to be sending an update in 2 weeks to the list of people on here that the class is fully released, and then you can come back then. Second, once you're in the class, you're in for life. You'll always have access to watch it anytime you want. And what's better is life is about learning. You know, fundamental analysis is one of my favorite things in crypto, and I'm always learning more about it and wanting to tweak things about the way I teach it. So this is not the first time we're going to be offering this class. I'll offer it again in the future, and I'll update it as I go. But you'll have access to the new version too, and I'll be there to let you know that it's out. So this is a purchase for life, and hopefully will continue to benefit you in utility and knowledge for a very long time to come. And that's it. Thank you so much for attending. Doc and I are here to take your questions if you have them. We've got about 10 minutes to do so, so let me know what you guys have.
What is the proverb? Isn't if you teach a man to fish, you feed him for life, something like that? So this is... Guys, this is Mav's opportunity to teach you guys how to fish. Okay, let's take some questions out there.
Ooh, some questions about masternodes and trading bots. Yeah, that's a great question. So masternodes are a form of staking where you have a ton of a certain coin. The coins team will tell you how much you need for a masternode. And where you would normally get a certain percentage just staking the coin, you get a much better percentage when you have a masternode. So it's like a premium checking account interest rate or something like that.
Got a question from, hey, it's Nish or Nash. How are you doing out there? Do you follow the same steps for the ICO recommendations of your tier 3 and tier 4 coins?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, I didn't really have time to get into it today. But ICOs are kind of their own animal. So you need to look at them a little bit differently. You can still apply a lot of these same steps because an ICO will have a white paper and an ICO will have a team. You really do have to be a lot more cautious though, because a lot of them are destined to fail. So you need to be on your A game if you really want to get into that ICO, and hopefully it's still around in a year or so.
So Juan is asking about Profit Trailer. We've got about a week's worth of experience of Profit Trailer under our belt. I would say if you have not done any software development in your life, you might want to step back from it for a little while until it grows up a little bit. It is not the easiest thing to figure out right off the bat. So But if you have spent your career in software development, you'll probably know it like the back of your hand. But I've got a pretty extensive technical analysis background, and I did not find this very easy to get up and going. So for some reason right now, my profit trailer has 0 trades over the last 5 days. And so I can't, I've got to debug that and figure out why. But yeah, we want to bring some value to you guys in terms of the community of bots that are out there, because when the market's doing something like this, a buy and hold obviously becomes a dollar cost averaging game right now. It's a game of chicken, and it's not one that I really like to play. I don't do dollar cost. I don't buy things that go down in price. I buy things that go up in price. So for right now, the intraday swing trading and bots are really the way to go. So we're going to do a lot more work on that.
Yeah, the question is, are we not allowed to participate in ICOs as U.S. citizens? Yeah, for the majority of them, we're not able to, unfortunately. It just comes down to the SEC's kind of still trying to clarify their position on ICOs. And as such, a lot of ICOs just don't limit or don't allow U.S. citizens to participate because they're afraid of legal action from the U.S. government. So, yeah, unfortunately, but that I can still evaluate a coin. I just can't participate in it.
There's a couple of people asking questions like, how do you track this type of stuff, Mav? Like, do you have a Google sheet, or do you have a spreadsheet, or, do you keep score somehow, or is it something where you just sort of like keep it up in your head, or?
Oh, I wish I could.
Would you consider sharing something like that with the premium members? Can you do that?
Well, so I think was the question regarding like a.
Well, it's more like, how do you track this type of stuff? I mean, there's several people in here kind of asking the same question.
Yeah, so I personally would I would put stuff into an Excel sheet, and I would take notes that way. And so yeah, over time I just kind of made it my own. So if I were to share anything, I would have to clean it up a little bit. But yeah, it's really as effective as you want to make it. Are you the sort of person that takes a lot of really meticulous notes, or do you care more about just kind of the broader aspects of things? So I really suggest making it your own. Part of the cryptocurrency class is that you get a 6-page document that literally you fill out all these different questions about the cryptocurrency that you're looking at. And it goes through each of the steps to say, okay, what's the team like? What's the CEO like? What's their mission? What's the how and the why? And it lets you fill in all these blanks that you need to fill in when you're evaluating a coin. So I think it's a really good stepping stone to just being a lot better about fundamental analysis and looking at each coin. But it's a great question.
So Matt is asking a question. And by the way, guys, if we've skipped over your question, that's just because they're flying in here right now and we're having difficulty keeping up with this. Matt is asking, he's a premium subscriber. Thank you, Matt. How do you balance the idea of making exit points?
How do you balance the exits or the amount of fiat to maintain rankings of investments most likely to drop prematurely? Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so yes, that goes back to tracking, just being really meticulous and making your own. So when you're looking at something, when you're trying to evaluate something, these are the sorts of notes that you just over time will get more comfortable making. You'll know what sort of exit points you were looking for. You'll know the level of risk you want to put in. For example, do you put in a 5% exit point, or you're a little bit more comfortable putting like a 15 or something?
Let me add to this as well too.
Yeah.
So like Matt, if I'm just doing a simple entry on something like that, what I do is the old Viking funeral kind of. I'll set the risk on the trade from the very beginning of 2% of my account. So I don't care if the thing burns down to the ground and sinks into the swamp at that point, because I've already set my risk on the trade from day one. So if you see us with either a fixed risk or a no stop, that's what we're doing. Now, as we add to a position, as it goes in our favor, as we add to it, again, I like to buy things that are moving up. Then I will definitely start to add a stop to it because I want to protect my gains. So hopefully that answers that. It's not the easiest question. We will definitely track this. There is a class that we intend to put out, which is like trade management, position management strategies, those kind of things. where we're going to cover that in great detail.
So there is a question that I'm laughing about because someone's asking, how do I sign up for the class? Which I probably should have told you, but I kind of neglected.
Oh, it's a quiz. Yeah, it's a challenge. If you can figure out how to sign up for the class, then you're allowed to go in it.
So what you want to do is you want to go to readysetcrypto.com/shop.
Why don't you let's drag just drag the site over and
show, not tell. So yeah, if you navigate to our website, you want to click up here on the store here, or just go to readysetcrypto.com/shop. And what you're looking for is the how to find your next big cryptocurrency intro to fundamental analysis online class. Click on that, and all you have to do is add to cart and proceed through the checkout process.
And if you're a premium member, don't forget about your coupon code.
Yep.
Because that's why you're a premium member. You get the benefits of being a premium member. The coupon code is in the newsletter posted every day under My Stuff. So look for it there.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. A Canadian citizen living in Texas, can you participate in ICOs? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
We forgot to bring our lawyer with us in tonight's presentation. How do I sign up for the videos? Okay, so that was Don's question. How do you determine how a coin gains in value? Daryl, that's a great question. This is called the free market will determine. We don't determine that. The free market price is the ultimate arbiter of value for everything that's out there. A price chart will tell you exactly what the supply and demand for a particular coin is. And it doesn't matter what some pundit thinks. It doesn't matter what we think. Ultimately, it's what the market thinks, and that's the beauty of a free market system.
He might have also been asking, how do you determine a coin's gain in value as it relates to your own portfolio? And to do that, to dynamically track your own portfolio, we like a lot of apps such as Delta or Blockfolio, where you can put in your buy points and use that to track your portfolio in real time. So hopefully we answer your question in two different ways. It wasn't really clear which way.
Let's see. So let's see what I have a question for Doc. As someone who's invested in the stock market, do you follow the trend following strategy, and does that play into your crypto strategy? Faisal, yeah, great question. I believe in what are called market fractals. So I use fractal time frames. I trade in the direction of what I call the anchor chart. The anchor chart, it's like a shark with all the little remora on there, right? So you're the little remora. You're using the signal chart to make entries on this larger time frame trend. Yes, I'm a believer in trend following, not to the Michael Covell model of trend following, not like the turtle traders version of trend following, but I believe in market fractals, fractal energy to identify that. That is actually a very short answer to an extremely long 3-hour answer to be able to talk about that. When do you plan on releasing technical analysis online class? Gregor, hey, Gregor, good to see you on board here. Guess what? I'm next in the barrel. So once Mav gets this one underway, probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing the same thing with technical analysis. And I'll probably be doing like a introductory class to TA. My gosh, it's such a wide scope of topics that are in technical analysis, and it's also very religious. It's also a very religious topic because everybody's got their own favorite form of TA. So there's no doubt I will probably end up offending somebody out there in this topic, but that's kind of the fun of it. Do either of us leverage trade? Well, there's a lot of different ways to leverage trade. I currently leverage trade through what are called futures. Futures contracts are leverage trade. I do not trade Bitcoin futures, though. I do not believe in the current set of derivatives are very good for those. They're really institutional instruments. In terms of margin trading, no, I do not margin trade with my current account.
Jinta's going to take her head off if we don't answer his question.
What have I done?
Are profitable ICOs still a possibility? Yes, they are, but they are much harder to find these days. That is definitely apparent to me. What's happened is there's been sort of a pullback as we've kind of, I highlighted during the presentation, I think the statistic is 56% of the ICOs from 2017 have already failed. And as it relates to the amount of money that we've seen raised by ICOs in terms of January versus February, the number was less than half. There was less than half of the amount raised in February than there was in January. So yeah, it is a very, there is a glut, as to use your word, of profitable ICOs. It doesn't mean there's still, not profitable ICOs out there, but they're much harder to find. And that's why fundamental analysis is so important, because fundamental analysis separates you from investing in the losers from the winners, the ones that are actually legitimate, that are actually have a use case, that are actually going to go out and have a market and dominate their niche. That's how you find them. So it's more of more of marketing for fundamental analysis, I know, but yes, I think it's as important today as it has ever been.
Okay, a couple of ones here.
Sure.
Jeffrey's asking, any chance of starting a Facebook group? Well, I guess I have a couple of thoughts on that. First of all, Facebook is banning all crypto advertising, so I'm not sure that I would want to actually even support Facebook right now by putting a group out there. Now, what we had intended to originally do is to build our own group here and have a video chat session that we were going to do every day, which was going to be kind of a bolt-on for the premium subscribers. I don't know that we're going to be able to do that just yet. We're just working from dusk to dawn every day, just doing what we're doing right now. But ultimately, we may do something more social.
I think Facebook has banned cryptocurrency advertisements because they want to have their own coin. My bet on that coin's name is the Zuckbuck after Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, no. You had to go there, didn't you? Okay, let's see. Now, somebody was asking about, is this webinar available in a written format, or I just scrolled off the top?
Well, he was asking if we're going to release this in the written format. And unfortunately, no, not at this time. But you will have the recording, so you can scroll to any point in the video that you'd like. And yeah, that should be out pretty soon. We'll have it out within a day or so.
What are the advantages of Bitfinex over Binance or Bittrex?
Oh, well, I don't like Bitfinex for a lot of reasons. One advantage, I guess, is that they allow short selling on their platform, but yeah, I would stay far away from Bitfinex if it were my decision, because they've just done some shady stuff in the past, and they've been hacked twice now. So I don't know. I would definitely pick Binance, and maybe to a lesser degree Bittrex over Bitfinex any day.
Tad is asking, are you planning to ever send out trade alerts on the Telegram group? Yeah, when we add something.
Yeah.
We've done some Telegram alerts on ads. We haven't bought a tremendous amount of stuff lately because the market's been trending down. We typically will, we're not dollar cost averaging dudes. We're more looking for things that are trending up.
Yeah, typically when I'm adding something, I'm doing it at the time that we're working on the newsletter. So I don't know. I've kind of struggled with putting out an alert for something that's already going to be in the newsletter at the time that we put it out. But it's a great question, and yeah, it's definitely something we're trying to get better at. So yeah, thanks for bringing it up.
Why is the USA so far behind as far as the exchanges? It's due to the regulation.
Oh, definitely.
Or fear of regulation.
Definitely.
We have some of the biggest financial markets in the world here. I mean, in terms of the stock markets, in terms of the options and derivatives and futures markets, we have the biggest ones in the world here that are without parallel, although we're starting to see other areas of the world starting to. And right now, it's the barrier to entry in the United States of starting up an exchange is so egregious. It's so difficult to get it done. I don't know how Bittrex does it. I don't know how Coinbase has been able to get there, but or even Gemini, the Winklevi.
Yeah.
Well, see, the Winklevi is actually smart because they've said, "Hey, bring on the regulation. We want to work with you in the regulation." So they've been smart about it.
Yeah. Someone's asking about what's the vision for Ready Set Crypto. Basically, what are we trying to accomplish here? And it's a great question.
What are we trying to do?
Yeah, what are we trying to do here? No, from the very beginning, that when I started this channel, when we started this business, what we've been trying to do is provide high quality stuff without screwing people over. So many times I saw people, advertising stuff and getting paid for it on the side, and
you guys would not believe the number of emails that we get every day from companies begging us to do a paid review of their ICO, and we turn right around and say, no, we won't do that. Now, we may end up calling them. We may start to do this. We may engage with them and call them up and say, what have you got? Tell us what you've got.
Yeah.
We don't want your money, though.
Yeah.
We just want to find out what's going on because we want to be part of this community. We just both really dig helping people. That's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, so it's, we're going to find innovative ways to communicate and to educate and to raise the space. That's what we want to do. We want to blow up the cryptocurrency education market. We want to disrupt it ourselves as well, too, by providing the best stuff out there.
Yeah, it was really funny. Someone reached out to tell us that this webinar conflicts with another webinar that someone else is giving that I won't name, but
somewhere in Florida, right?
Maybe. But they're the kind of guys that will charge you $3,000 to tell you that Ethereum is the next Bitcoin, that kind of stuff. And so, like, when I saw that was what was dominating the space, especially for people getting into crypto, and they see guys like that, and they think that that is the entry barrier, that I have to spend $3,000 in order to learn anything in the space, I knew I had to do something. And that's why I started this. That's why we believe so much in offering this, because we don't want to offer anything but the best for reasonable amounts, really. So
I think Patrick is going to strangle you unless you answer his question about Nebulas.
Nebulas. Oh, I looked at Nebulas in a low cap video back in January. It was like one of those top videos that I made. Nebulas is interesting. I think they still have some time to truly hit their potential. But yeah, I agree with you though. It was one of the best GitHubs I had ever seen. So yeah, I think they have a lot to be proud of, and it's definitely a unique one that I've looked at. So yeah, thanks for bringing it up.
Okay, let's answer one more question, and then we will bid everybody a good evening. But before we do that, go ahead and find a question there that you want to answer. I do want to encourage you guys to, jump on board and sign up for tonight's class. Again, if you're a premium member, sign up and use the coupon code. If you're not a premium member, if you're not already engaged with the newsletter, go ahead and sign up for the newsletter, and you can find the coupon code in there and save yourself $10 off of this class, and you can join the tribe with us tonight. So you know that Mav's class is going to be outstanding. It's going to be phenomenal. He's going to be putting out one module every day for the next, 11, 12 days, something like that.
12 days of crypto.
12 days in crypto. Oh, my God. You're going to pay for that one.
Oh, he's asking where's the coupon code.
Where's the coupon code? If you go in the newsletter, if you go under my section, which is the technical analysis section at the very bottom of the newsletter, under the top 10 coin analysis, you can find the coupon code in there.
Great question.
You can find the coupon code right there. So it's sort of an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Not really, but okay, so go ahead and answer. So let's answer one more question here. Go ahead and pick it out. And if, guys, don't forget, I mean, it's like we're not hiding behind if we didn't get to your question, just go ahead and send us an email and let us know how we can help.
Support@ReadySetCrypto.com.
Oh, there's Chris. He's like 5 miles away from here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Yeah, the question is about Elastos. It's one of the new Neo coins, and I think I've been mulling around doing a kind of a review of the current state of the Net5 ecosystem, which is the ERC20 equivalent for Neo as Ethereum. So yeah, Elastos is definitely one of the most exciting ones I've seen on the new Neo ecosystem. So yeah, it's done some weird stuff in price recently. So we're still kind of playing around and how to get into it or where to get into it specifically. But it's definitely on our radar. We definitely are digging it. So yeah, I think I'll do the current state of Neo's ecosystem in a video pretty soon here. So yeah, thanks for a good idea.
I've got one low-hanging fruit. I'm going to answer for Naeem out there. You don't have to. So one of the things with profit trailers, if you turn it on, it will trade every single pair out there against Bitcoin, and it will wipe out your portfolio. It will sell out your portfolio immediately. You can specify which pairs that you want it to trade. So make sure you do that first. It's in the pairs config file.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we are going to wish you guys a good evening. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we hope to see you again here in a couple weeks. And for those of you that are joining us, Mav in the fundamental analysis class, look forward to having some fun with him. So, hey, everybody, have a good night, and we will send out the replay of this tomorrow for the premium, for the non-premium members. For the premium members, we'll put this up in the premium home in the members area.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody. You guys have a great night. Take care and stay warm out there.